Hey everyone. My name is Garrett Gooch, checking in this week, and wanted to talk a little bit about the systems thinking that we had to explore this week and explore it in our book that we chose. So once again, I chose to do the leadership book by Peter Norhaus that talks about theory and practice. In this book, it did not specifically call out systems thinking, but it does call out or speak to the skills model and the components and or competencies that are within that model, and then he ties them specifically to problem solving. What I liked about this is that Norhaus shows that there's a interdependency on problem solving and knowledge within an organization. So pretty much knowledge is going to be that kind of like driving force that determines the skills that are necessary for problem solving within an organization. In terms of problem solving, you have to utilize knowledge in order to figure out from a leadership standpoint the engagement point, if that makes sense. When I read this video, not read, but when I looked at the video that Professor Wilson did, and he spoke about Peter Senge, it made me want to do a deeper dive into that and to learn a little bit more about those 5 disciplines. So according to the research that I did for Peter Senge, in terms of the systems thinking, there are 5 disciplines to create a learning organization. And those 5 disciplines are a shared vision, mental models, team learning, personal mastery, and systems thinking. So Senge's theory is that system thinking binds the other 4 disciplines, and it is the discipline that encompasses change management, which I thought was interesting. Senge also believes that system thinking also allows for a holistic analysis of the organizational patterns, which it does, because you have to think about it. You're taking a holistic viewpoint or perspective of the organization to analyze its problems and to think about how to problem solve for these issues. I love the fact that Senge utilized a metaphor in regards to the elephant to align in or dissect systems thinking. He basically said if you split an elephant in 2, that's not going to give you 2 elephants. You can only manage and take care of one of the elephants. And he applied that metaphor to the organization. You can only manage the organization as a whole, not in these different segments. So, and the last point that I took away from Senge's theory was utilizing systems thinking from a holistic perspective. As we already mentioned, we have to stop dividing problems into smaller pieces, trying to solve each part, which I thought was kind of significant, because that is what we do. We think that if we dissect the problem and we handle it from that perspective, then that's going to fix the overall problem. And then he used another metaphor, which I thought was pretty significant. Was let's take, for instance, a mirror. The mirror is broken into pieces, of course, and you try to put that mirror back together. That mirror being put back together is not going to give you the same view that you had when it was once whole, if that makes sense. So if we think about it, if you solve these different problems in a dissected manner, then how is that solving the overarching problem, if that makes sense? And that kind of made me think about just some of the issues my organization is facing in terms of problem solving. Yes, we've done the same thing. We've dissected it into these smaller pieces. However, when we think about the overarching goal of trying to solve for this problem, just because we solved this down here, these pieces here, does not mean that that's solving the entire problem here. So this is my these are just my thoughts for this week, and I hope everybody has a great week.